Hello and welcome to another episode of Crocheting in the Dark, where you get to crochet blindfolded. Okay, not literally, but if you've ever participated in a mystery cal, it's the same idea. I'm going to read off a pattern and you're going to follow along, not knowing anything about what you're going to make. Intriguing, right? Okay, head over to your craft space because we're about to get started. Do you ever feel like your thoughts are tangled? You have an endless to-do list and you just don't have enough time? Do you crave a slower, more intentional life filled with peace, purpose, and joy? If that sounds like you, you're in the right place. Hi friend, I'm Sigoni, and this is Crocheting Through Emotions, the podcast for moms who feel overwhelmed, anxious, and disconnected from who they really are. Here we'll talk about renewing your mind, letting go of perfectionism, and finding simple ways to manage stress and anxiety. We'll explore tools like creativity, crochet, mindfulness, journaling, and even how faith can fit into the everyday chaos of motherhood. So grab your yarn or just a quiet moment for yourself. It's time to stop going through the motions and start crocheting through those emotions, one stitch at a time. If you are brand new to crochet, I highly recommend following my 7-day Learn to Crochet challenge first so you can get the basics under your belt. You can find the link to sign up in the description and it's free. I almost forgot to mention that. But if you already have a grasp on the single and double crochet stitches, this pattern is very beginner friendly. If you missed the first episode where I explained the idea behind Crocheting in the Dark, I created these challenges as a way to spark your curiosity because as we talked about in episode 12, curiosity is really important for our mental well-being. They were also created to encourage you to step outside your comfort zone, to test your crochet knowledge, give you a reason to crochet for yourself today, and to just have fun. So today you're going to need a fine weight yarn, which is a number 2. For this type of project, I like to use a thinner yarn, and you'll understand why later. But if you don't have a thinner yarn, it's totally fine. This pattern will work with any weight, but you may not be able to use it as intended, especially if you choose to use a bulky weight or something. But actually, that would be pretty funny, and I would love to see that. But no matter what, this is a fast project, and it's obviously meant to be fun. So even if you can't use it, it's not a waste of time. Try to remember that that's exactly why we do this, to have fun, not to be perfect. And it's just bonus points if we have a little laugh, you know what I mean? Okay, so if you do want to use it as intended, choose a weight 2 or 3 yarn and a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. I'm using Premier Minikins. This project should only take about 30 minutes to an hour, but of course it could take longer because we're using a thinner yarn. And depending on your skill level and ability to follow along, which can be tricky when it's not something you're used to doing. And that brings me to the encouragement portion of this episode. Please remember, this is meant to challenge you in the best way. Following along with a crochet pattern without knowing what the pattern is or physically seeing it is difficult. Don't be too hard on yourself if you think you've gone wrong somewhere. Although I will say this pattern is pretty simple, so I don't think you'll have any trouble. But if you're getting frustrated, set it aside and try another day, or you can join my Facebook group where I share the written pattern for free. This could change in the future though, so take advantage of it while you can. Be prepared to frog. Be prepared to make mistakes. It's okay if you do. But hopefully things will go pretty smooth. I can't wait to hear your thoughts and see your finished projects in the group. And one more thing, remember to pause the episode if you need to catch up, and if I'm going too fast, you can change the playback speed to 0.75, and this will slow it down slightly. Okay, let's get started. To begin row 1, create a slip knot and chain 14. Double crochet in the second chain from your hook. Single crochet into the next chain. Double crochet into the next. And we're just going to repeat that pattern. So single crochet into the next chain, double crochet into the next. And you'll repeat that pattern, just single crochet, double crochet, all the way down the row. Then double crochet into the last chain. For row 2, chain 1 and turn your work. Single crochet into the first stitch. That should be your double crochet from the previous round. Then double crochet into the next. Single crochet into the next. And repeat that down the row. So double crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into the next. And just so you know you're on track, each single crochet should be at the top of the double crochet from the previous round, and the same with the double crochet. So you'll double crochet into the single crochet from the previous round. And this will make a nice textured pattern. For row 3, you're going to chain 2, and this counts as a double crochet, and then turn your work. So you'll skip that very first stitch and single crochet into the next stitch. So remember that single crochet is going into the double crochet from the previous round. Then double crochet into the next. Single crochet into the next stitch and double crochet into the next. And again, we're going to repeat that pattern. So single crochet into the next, double crochet into the next, all the way down the row. Pretty simple so far, right? Now for row 4, we're basically going to repeat row 2, but just doing a little something different at the end of the row. So for row 4, chain 1 and turn your work. Single crochet into the first stitch, and then double crochet into the next stitch. And then single crochet into the next. And again, repeating that pattern down the row. Double crochet into the next, and single crochet into the next. Now, once you reach the end of row 4, you'll remember that at the beginning of row 3, we made a chain 2 that counted as a double crochet. So the last single crochet of row 4 should be going at the top of the chain 2 from row 3. Hopefully that makes sense. Now what we're going to do is repeat rows 3 and 4 alternatively. So that just means going back and forth. So for row 5, you're going to repeat the instructions for row 3. And for row 6, you'll repeat the instructions for row 4. And you'll just continue repeating that until you reach row 28. Now, if you're using a different yarn, you might end on a different row, but you'll always want to end on a row 2, so the instructions for row 2, and you'll want your work to measure about 6 inches. So for me, my work measures, 2¼ inches by 6 inches, so around there. Okay, so now you're done. Go ahead and tie off your yarn and weave in your ends. If you can't tell, you've made yourself a little bookmark. This is such a simple pattern, but it's a great way to strengthen your brain, your crochet knowledge, and to practice some single and double crochet stitches. Now, if you want to make it a tad fancier, we can add a little tassel. So to do this, you can cut 3 strands of yarn that's about 11 inches long. Then hold all of those strands together and fold it in half, and use a crochet hook to pull all those strands through the last stitch worked in the pattern. Then yarn over and pull all the strands through. Then just pull it tight to secure. And then you'll have a little tassel at the top. And one more thing, that this is totally optional, but if you want to make your bookmark stiffer but not too stiff, pin the bookmark to a blocking board in the desired position, and with a paintbrush or your finger, you can spread bits of fabric stiffener all over your bookmark. So just make sure to spread this out evenly across all of the stitches and repeat on the other side after the first side dries. Now, I really hope you enjoyed this episode of Crocheting in the Dark. If you did, I would love for you to leave me a written review sharing your thoughts. Feel free to return to this episode and make more for yourself or as little gifts for friends and neighbors. Even better, pair it with your favorite book and get a friend back into reading this holiday season. You can join our Facebook group to find the free pattern if you'd rather follow along with that the second time around. And you can also find the photo of my finished bookmark inside the group so you can compare and make sure it looks the same. Now, lastly, and this might be a little disappointing for you, but I'm going to take my own advice and take a break from the podcast during the holidays. That way I can slow down and spend time with the family. But I will see you in the new year, and I hope you have the best holiday season. Thanks so much for spending this time with me on Crocheting Through Emotions. If today's episode encouraged you, it would mean the world if you left a review. This small act helps other overwhelmed mamas find this space of cozy creativity. And if you've been wanting to try crochet as a way to slow down and feel grounded, my free Learn to Crochet Masterclass is a great place to start. You can find the link in the show notes. Until next time, keep creating, stay present, and remember, you are right where you need to be.